Listen up, you lot. Having leftovers doesn't mean you have to settle for a sad, sorry excuse for a meal. We're going to turn that fridge full of yesterday's scraps into 5-star dishes that'll have you licking your plates clean. We're talking restaurant-quality transformations, not some pathetic attempts at resuscitation. So, put on your aprons, sharpen your knives, and get ready to learn from a pro. Right, you've got leftover chicken? Don't even think about throwing that in the bin. We're gonna spice things up and turn it into a fiesta in your mouth. Shred that chicken, toss it with some chili powder, cumin, and a good kick of cayenne. Then, we're building tacos. None of those soggy, store-bought abominations. Warm your tortillas, get some fresh cilantro, diced onions, and a squeeze of lime. Boom! You've got yourself a restaurant-quality meal that'll blow those takeaway menus out of the water. And don't think you can hide those mashed potatoes from me. We're turning those bad boys into crispy golden croquettes. Mix in some grated cheese, chopped herbs, I'm talking rosemary, thyme, none of that dried rubbish. Form them into patties, and coat them in breadcrumbs. A quick fry in hot oil, and you've got yourself a side dish that'll have your guests begging for more. Listen, leftovers can be a bit dull, a bit lifeless. They sit in the fridge looking sad and unappetizing, and you wonder what you can possibly do to make them exciting again. But don't worry, there's a way to breathe new life into those leftovers. That's where fresh ingredients come in. Fresh vegetables, herbs, and spices can transform any dish, adding vibrant colors and bold flavors that make your taste buds dance. Got some leftover rice? Don't you dare tell me you're making rice pudding. Instead, let's take that plain, boring rice and turn it into something spectacular. We're making fried rice that would put those takeaway joints to shame. Imagine a dish so flavorful and satisfying that you'll forget it started as leftovers. Heat up your wok, get that oil smoking hot, then toss in chopped garlic, ginger, and a splash of soy sauce. The aroma alone will have you salivating. Scramble in some eggs, then add your rice and a mountain of chopped veggies, peppers, onions, carrots, whatever you've got. The more colorful, the better. A sprinkle of sesame oil and you've got yourself a flavor explosion. The nutty aroma of sesame oil ties everything together, making each bite a delight. And if you think those sad steamed vegetables are getting off lightly, you're dreaming. They deserve a makeover too. We're transforming them into a frittata that's fit for a king. A dish that's not only delicious but also incredibly versatile. Whisk up some eggs, season them properly, salt, pepper, a pinch of nutmeg, then mix in your leftover vegetables. This is where you can get creative. Pour it all into a hot pan, sprinkle over some cheese, and finish it under the grill. The cheese will melt and create a golden, crispy top that's irresistible. It's a quick, easy, and delicious way to use up those vegetables that are about to turn on you. Plus, it's a great way to reduce food waste and make the most of what you have. So next time you're faced with leftovers, remember, fresh ingredients and bold flavors can work wonders. Bowls fit for a king, not a pauper. Now let's talk bowls, not those pathetic bowls of cereal you call breakfast. I'm talking about hearty, flavorful bowls that are packed with goodness. Got some leftover quinoa or rice? Perfect. That's the base of our bowl. Now, we layer. Think roasted vegetables, sweet potatoes, broccoli, bell peppers, some protein grilled chicken, chickpeas, tofu, and a drizzle of tahini or a vibrant dressing. This isn't just a meal, it's a work of art. And if you've got any leftover roast beef, don't you dare let it go dry. We're making a beef and quinoa bowl that's bursting with flavor. Thinly slice that beef, pile it on top of your quinoa and add some fresh arugula, juicy cherry tomatoes, and a drizzle of balsamic glaze. It's a symphony of textures and flavors that'll have you wondering why you ever ordered takeout. From leftovers to liquid gold. Listen, even I have to admit that soup is a lifesaver when it comes to leftovers. It's the ultimate comfort food, and it's incredibly versatile. You can take almost any leftover and turn it into a delicious, hearty soup that feels like a warm hug on a cold day. It's like a warm hug on a cold day, but 1,000 times more delicious. Imagine coming home after a long day, and the first thing that greets you is the aroma of a simmering pot of soup. It's pure bliss. Got some leftover roast chicken or turkey? These are perfect candidates for a delicious soup. The meat is already cooked, so it's just a matter of adding it to your pot and letting the flavors meld together. Don't even think about throwing that carcass away. Those bones are packed with flavor and nutrients that can be extracted to make a rich, flavorful stock. We're making a stock that'll be the base of a soul-soothing soup. The process is simple but requires a bit of patience. You'll need to let it simmer for hours to extract all the goodness from the bones. Throw those bones in a pot with some vegetables, herbs, and water, and let it simmer for hours. The longer it simmers, the more flavorful your stock will be. This is the secret to a great soup. Then, shred your leftover meat, add it to the pot with some noodles or rice, and you've got yourself a meal that'll warm you from the inside out. The combination of tender meat, hearty noodles, and rich broth is simply irresistible. And if you think those roasted vegetables are off the hook, you're sadly mistaken. Roasted vegetables add a depth of flavor to soups that's hard to beat. We're blending them into a velvety smooth soup that's as comforting as it is delicious. The key is to roast the vegetables until they're caramelized and sweet, which brings out their natural flavors. Roast those vegetables until they're caramelized and sweet, then blend them with some stock, cream, and a touch of herbs. This creates a luxurious, creamy soup that's perfect for any occasion. It's a simple but elegant way to transform those leftovers into a meal that's fit for a king. So next time you have leftovers, don't just reheat them. Reinvent them into something extraordinary. Saucy secrets to leftover luxury. Now let's talk sauce. Sauces are the unsung heroes of the culinary world, capable of transforming even the most mundane leftovers into gourmet delights. Whether you're dealing with a simple tomato sauce or a complex reduction, the right sauce can make all the difference. A good sauce can elevate any dish, even leftovers, from drab to fab. Got some leftover steak? You might think it's destined for the trash or at best, a mediocre sandwich. But hold on, with the right sauce you can turn that leftover steak into a culinary masterpiece. Don't you dare settle for a dry, overcooked disaster. Instead, let's breathe new life into that steak. The key is to think creatively and use ingredients you already have in your pantry. We're making steak au poivre that'll melt in your mouth. Slice that steak thin, almost paper thin, to ensure it absorbs all the flavors of the sauce. This technique not only makes the steak more tender but also allows it to blend seamlessly with the sauce. Sauté some crushed peppercorns in butter, letting the heat release their aromatic oils. This step is crucial for building the base flavor of our sauce. Deglaze the pan with brandy, because we're fancy like that, and watch as the alcohol evaporates, leaving behind a rich, concentrated flavor. This not only adds depth, but also helps to lift any caramelized bits stuck to the pan. Then add some cream and reduce it down to a silky, smooth sauce. The cream not only adds richness but also helps to mellow out the sharpness of the peppercorns, creating a balanced and luxurious sauce. Pour it over your steak and get ready for a flavor explosion. The combination of the tender steak and the creamy, peppery sauce is nothing short of magical. And if you think that pasta is destined for a life of blandness, think again. Leftover pasta can be just as exciting as a fresh batch when paired with the right sauce. We're tossing those leftover noodles with a homemade pesto that'll knock your socks off. Pesto is incredibly versatile and can be made with a variety of herbs and nuts depending on what you have on hand. Basil, pine nuts, garlic, Parmesan cheese, these are the classic ingredients, but feel free to experiment with other herbs like parsley or cilantro, and nuts like walnuts or almonds. Olive oil, blitz it all together and you've got a sauce that's bursting with freshness. The vibrant green color and the aromatic blend of ingredients make this sauce a feast for both the eyes and the palate. Or, if you're feeling decadent, why not go for a creamy Alfredo sauce? This classic sauce is a surefire way to turn any leftover pasta into a rich, indulgent meal. Whip up a creamy Alfredo sauce with butter, letting it melt gently in the pan to create a smooth base, cream, and Parmesan cheese. The key to a great Alfredo sauce is to use high-quality ingredients and to cook it slowly, allowing the flavors to meld together perfectly. It's rich, it's indulgent, and it's the perfect way to give those leftovers a luxurious makeover. So next time you find yourself with leftovers, remember, a good sauce can make all the difference. Get creative, have fun, and transform those leftovers into something truly special. There you have it, you lot. 5 foolproof ways to transform your leftovers from dull and dreary to downright delicious. No more excuses for wasting food. Now get in that kitchen and show those leftovers who's boss. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more culinary tips and tricks. You never know when you might need to turn a disaster into a masterpiece. Now get out of my kitchen.